Fight!
Most skates ship with toe stops in, and therefore when you're a beginner you put them on and you learn with toe stops in. But then you hit social media and everyone's like, oh, you should take your toe stops out. So you're like, what do I do? Leave them in, take them out? But it very much depends what sorts of style of skating you're going to be doing. If you're going to be a derby skater or a park skater, you're going to want your toe stops. Likewise, if you're going to do artistic jumps, you're definitely going to need those toe stops. But let's talk about the pros and cons. If you're skating outside, you can actually use your toe stops to help steady you. So say, for instance, you're on an incline, this is a great way to stand. The reason lots of people say to take your toe stops out is because people tend to use them incorrectly when they're learning. So let me demonstrate for you. So what happens is you're skating along and you're like, I want to stop, and you do this. And this is quite a dangerous way to stop. If you're going to use your toe stops to stop when you're skating forwards, make sure that you turn this hip out and the toe out. So you then stop like that. And that is a much, much safer way to stop forwards using your toe stop. If you do decide to take your toe stops out, you are going to need some of these. Now these are commonly known as jam plugs or dance plugs. And these take the place of your toe stop, and basically they protect your plate so it doesn't get all chewed up, so you can still put the toe stop back in again when you want to use your toe stops. But also some rinks won't let you skate without these because your metal plate could scratch their floor. Also, don't worry if you've got bolt-on toe stops because you can get jam plugs to fit those too. So how do you know when you're ready to take your toe stops out? The best way to find out if you're ready is to pretend that you don't have toe stops in. So bear with me on this one. The idea is that I'm going to skate as if I didn't have them. But if I forget and reach for it, it's still going to be there. So basically you need to be able to stop and push without using your toe stops. So generally when you learn to skate, lots of people will start to push off by using their toe stops, like this. And then when they stop, they'll stop using their toe stop. Once you've mastered that without toe stops, you can take them out. So rather than pushing from your toe stop, you're going to push using this front inside wheel on both skates. So that is going to be the last thing to leave the ground. And then I'm pushing as if I was using a toe stop, but I'm using my wheels instead because my toe stop's not there. Remember, they're not there. You can't see them, they're invisible. I'm gonna push, inside wheel, and then I'm gonna stop. So when I stop, what I'm gonna do, this is called a T-stop, or you can use a plow stop, so I'll show you both. A T-stop isn't actually in this T position. Think of it more as a V-stop. And what you're going to do is you're going to apply pressure to this back foot, more and more pressure as you start to come to a stop. So here's my V position. There. Most of my weight is still on here, and this is just causing a bit of resistance. Now you can also do a plow stop, which if you're familiar with bubbles, you lean on the inside edges, but what we're going to do for a plow stop is you're going to lean on the outsides of your feet, and that will also stop you. So once you've mastered these, you can think about actually taking them out for real. And I do have an entire video with lots of different options for stopping without toe stops. So if you can skate an entire session without touching that toe stop, it's going to give you a lot of confidence that you're going to be okay with a jam plug in. But when you take the toe stop off and put the jam plug in, I would recommend some of this, because just in case you do go for that toe stop that's not there, the chances are you're gonna go down and it's going to be quite hard on the knees, so just be careful. The main reason people take their toe stops off are because they start to get in the way. So this is really common when you're rhythm skating or dancing in place skating, because you start to do things like toe manuals and they get in the way. But if you're not ready, you can still do a lot of these dance moves with your toe stops in. So for instance, one of the early moves you can learn would be the hez, and that you can absolutely do with toe stops in. It's no problem. And another nice one is the crescent step. Now, this is going to use a toe manual, but you can still do it. You've just got to be aware of not dipping your foot too far. So if you're learning this with a toe stop in, the chances are you're going to learn and muscle memory just how far you can go. Now, I'm actually having quite a lot of trouble doing this because my muscle memory is a much lower dip because I'm not used to having a toe stop in. So I'm having quite a hard time finding that sweet spot where my toe stop doesn't hit. There are loads of skills, as I've said, that you can do with your toe stops in. But when you get to things like dribbles, crazy legs, dips, you're gonna need to tip more onto your front wheels, and that's when that toe stop starts to get in the way. I actually regularly swap between toe stops and no toe stops, and the only way I manage to survive this is by always skating as if my toe stops aren't there, so I don't rely on them until I need them for the skill that I intend to do with them in. So I'm Katie, you've been watching Skatie, and I'll see you next time. Have fun, bye!